What do you think your Captain America, who I'm so excited about, by the way, would think about David's Alexei if the two were to meet? What do you think Alexei would think of Mackie's Captain America if the two were to meet?
I don't think we would get along that well.
I mean, I think that would be a very funny meeting. I think you'd be confused, certainly.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Mr. Harbour, good to see you again, sir. How are you?
See you too, Jake. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing so well. I miss you. We've got to stop meeting like this. I'm here, and I'm so glad. I'm going to jump into this. I love that your character, his ghost, shows himself when the song is "Who Will Stop the Rain," which is I think Creedence Clearwater. What is the song that would get the ghost of David Harbour to show himself?
The ghost of David Harbour to come out. Oh God, I mean, it'd probably be like some Black Sabbath, like early Black Sabbath. Maybe that would.
Yes. And you would just sort of like just emerge from the darkness.
Exactly. My ethereal slumber. I'd come rolling in and haunt you.
That'd be a great, like, that song, and then your image coming out would be like, that's very cinematic. That's fantastic,
right?
by the way.
There's a movie right there. Let's
get
write
it.
Come
right.
on.
Tell Chris, come on, right? We're giving Netflix gold right now. It is funny how other characters in this movie refer to the house as that house. Because growing up, every kid had that house in the neighborhood that they knew was haunted or something was wrong with it or someone weird lived there. What was that house for you growing up?
Ooh, we did have a house down the street where I was growing up in White Plains that was at the end of our block, and it felt like similar, like that house, or like even I think it was even more like the Creel house in Stranger Things. It was like old, kind of abandoned Gothic house that did not belong there. We used to go walk by it. I never went into it though. I'm too much of a chicken for that stuff.
Was it one of the things where like kids would dare other kids to like go up and knock? Yeah. Do you ever do it?
Yeah. No, I don't
Never
fall
knocked.
for that. Dare me. What do I get? Come on.
You're too smart.
I don't fall for that. Too smart.
You're too smart for that. Really quick, obviously, many of us are hoping that we see you and Anthony Mackie together again in the MCU. What do you think Alexei would think of Mackie's Captain America if the two were to meet?
I mean, I think that would be a very funny meeting. I think he'd be confused, certainly, based on what he thought his version of Captain America was. But yeah, I mean, I think it'd be Mackie's a really fun guy, a really crazy personality. I love what he's doing with the character, and we shall see if there's any interaction in the future. I would certainly enjoy it myself. So, and I have expressed that to Kevin Feige and the powers that be. So, we will see if they, yeah.
And you clearly have a history of giving people gold, giving them good ideas. So people need to be listening to you.
Black Sabbath, me
come on,
shadows already. I mean, Jesus, guys.
Done.
What do we got to do?
What more? I'm going to cut you loose on this because speaking of Anthony Mackie, there's a really fun moment near the beginning of the movie where his character is trying to see you for the first time, and he learns in that moment he's doing it all wrong. He's approaching Ghost the wrong way. That's not how you do it. What is the best advice you can give someone on how to approach a celebrity for the first time? Most people don't ever expect to see one walking around. So if someone sees David Harbour, how should they go about approaching you?
I mean, I don't. It's hard. It's very hard because like everybody, it's like you kind of want to live your life, and you kind of. But I will say the most gratifying things to me as when I'm walking around, if somebody sees me, is I do get people occasionally who walk past me and just give me a thumbs up. Like there was a guy the other day who just gives me a thumbs up and goes, "I like what you do," and just kept walking. And I was like, "Oh, that's the best," because you feel great, but you don't have to like stop and get your kids annoyed at you because you're taking pictures. It was so. If you can do that to me, if you like me, please, I will remember and cherish you in my heart forever.
I hugged you the last time I saw you.
Yeah, that's the worst way. That's the worst. You're the worst. You live in my memory of the worst experiences. But
Mr. Harbour, I like what you do.
Hey.
I appreciate you, sir. You're always so kind to me. I love you very much. I just want you to know really quick, I love Hellboy, man. So like, I'm just throwing that out there. I love Hellboy. So I appreciate
Thank
you.
you. The
And
few,
hopefully
the
next time I get to
proud.
see you in
Thank you
person.
very
Yes,
much,
sir.
sir.
Good to see you, my friend.
Thank you. All right, you
Guys,
too.
good
buddy.
to see you both again. Seriously, thank you for taking the time. I love this movie, so I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
Great hair, Jake.
I
Great
appreciate you.
hair.
It's really all I got. It's all I got going for me. When you hear my question, you'd be like, "Oh yeah, it's all hair." It's appreciate you, guys. I'm going to jump into this, Mr. Mackie. I'm actually going to start with you. When you're trying to see the ghost for the first time, you learn that you're doing it all wrong. You're approaching the ghost the wrong way. That's not how you do it. What's the biggest advice you can give for someone on how to approach a celebrity for the first time? Most people don't expect to see celebrities walking around. So if someone sees Anthony Mackie, how should they go about approaching you?
Leave him alone.
Under all circumstances.
Under all circumstances. Because the reality of it is, your job does not define who you are. Your job is something you do on a day-to-day basis, and you leave it at work. So when I'm in my real world, in my real life, the last thing I want to do is talk about a deal with my job. So leave him alone. That's his human time, not his work time. Everyone gets human time because we're all humans. Leave him alone. Let him live.
I saw you on a golf course outside of Chicago one time, and I left you alone. And I am now taking great pride in that moment in my life.
You're a good man, Charlie Brown.
I appreciate you, sir. You know, it's funny how there are other characters in this movie that refer to the house as that house, because every kid had that house in their neighborhood that they, growing up, they just knew that house was haunted. For you guys, what was that house in your neighborhood that you were scared of, that you knew something was wrong with, that was haunted? Did you guys have a that house?
1624 Bank Street. Her name was
You know the address.
Yeah, oh my gosh. She was the cat lady, dude. And there was this old Jeep Cherokee, the Wagoneer with the wood on the side, and it was full of stuff. And everybody in the neighborhood believed she would kidnap people and put them in that Wagoneer. So whenever somebody would move, we'd be like, oh shit, Miss Louise got them. And she had 1 million cats. Dude, she had 1 million cats. And her house just smelled like cat pee. You would walk to the grocery store and you would smell the cat pee from the sidewalk.
Jeez, oh my gosh. Miss Louise.
Miss Louise. Yo, it was the 1620 Bank Street. Oh my God, Miss Louise, bro.
I can smell it right now. Like you painted a picture.
A wood-grain Jeep Wagoneer full of stuff. And it's the smell of cat pee. If you don't know the smell of cat pee, dog.
Jahi, what about you?
Well, a little traumatized from that story.
You see what I mean? I live with it.
I ain't have a Miss Louise, but the weirdest houses are always like the kids that don't ever come outside to play. They just kind of like watch from the window while all of the kids are like, and you know something's going on, but you don't really know what it is. So I don't know. I would say I've had a couple of those where it's just like, hi guys, like blink twice if you need help kind of thing. But yeah, not as many weirdos and Miss Louises.
Mr. Mackie, I'm going to squeeze this in really quick because obviously a lot of us are hoping that we see you and David Harbour together again in the MCU. What do you think your Captain America, who I'm so excited about, by the way, would think about David's Alexei if the two were to meet?
You know what? I don't think we would get along that well, but when it comes down to them hands, I think he could get a 2-piece and a biscuit.
That's gonna be a good fight, though.
What'd you say, man? My bad.
I don't always love when actors are paired together, but this is the best junket pairing in a long time. I'm so glad Netflix put you guys together.
This dude is a bully, man. This dude is a bully, and I'm glad America sees it.
But you can take it. You can take it. I'm going to cut you guys loose on this. I love that David's ghost shows himself when the song Who'll Stop the Rain, is that Creedence Clearwater, is played. What is the song that would get you guys to sort of expose yourself? That's a weird phrasing. What is the song that would get you to come out of the woodwork?
Keep going.
Easy. Back that thing up. Give it down.
Wow.
You from New Orleans.
You're amazing.
Yeah.
You're amazing.
Yeah. That one's for the culture. Back that.
That's a good one.
You're amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, I raised you right. I would say We Are One by Frankie Beverly and Maze.
Ooh.
Oh,
That's my
good one.
That's my song of humanity and dignity. That's my, or September by Earth, Wind and Fire. Because I play that every year for my birthday. I set it on my radio and I wake up to, do you remember?
They're giving me the rap. If I ever see you out in public, I'm just going to start playing it softly in the distance, but I'm going to leave you alone. So we'll have a moment. We'll have a moment. Guys, I appreciate you having some fun with me today. Seriously, you guys are always phenomenal and always very kind to me. And I just want you to know I appreciate you. So seriously, thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, man. Have a good day.
Thank you, guys. Jumping into this, I kind of want to start at the beginning because the opening shot, the opening sequence, and the title card are fantastic. I'm just sort of curious as to, like, that's such a great way to sort of set the tone as to like what this movie is going to be. And I just want to talk about sort of the importance of that opening 30, 45 seconds using one singular shot to sort of capture everything.
Yeah, it's funny. So the first time I read the short story, and I fell in love with it when I read it, but that was one of the first shots that I had in my head, and I have it in my notebook. I wrote that down. I wrote down, like, we're sitting in a big wide static shot, and then the door blows open and the family comes running out screaming. And I just felt like it announced, like you said, the tone of the movie, that it was going to have some scares, but that it's also aware and kind of funny. And they obviously like back over a mailbox and the whole bit. But it just kind of tells you everything that the movie's going to be.
How long did it take to get the whole thing? Because it's all one shot. So how long did it take to get it right?
It's a really tough shot. And I'll tell you, we had to, so we shot it obviously at night. But then we also just had to like run the camera because it turns into a day shot. And then the rest of our cast shows up in the same shot. And then the camera starts moving and goes all the way up to the front door with them. So it was like we were there all night and all morning. Like it was just one big long thing.
I don't mean to like keep picking it apart, but was it tough for like, because they have to hit the mailbox just right as they're backing out, which like it looks like it's all natural and it's crazy and it's chaotic. Yeah. But like my first thought was like, oh, I wonder how many takes it took to get it hit the right way.
Well, luckily I work with professionals, people who are really good at their jobs. So we only had to do a few takes. It wasn't many. And then we also had cut points, so like once we got something done, we could stop. And then as long as the camera was locked, like that's where you can't mess with it. But we did it in chunks, but it was, like I said, we pulled an all-nighter. Like it was a long, long day.
It's worth it. It's impressive. I'm a big movie fan, and whenever I saw, there's a moment where I don't want to ruin anything, where like a red ball is rolling across the floor, and my mind as a movie fan went to Changeling, and I was just wondering if that was
first person who got it. Bing, 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 bing.
Tell Netflix.
Yeah, I mean, that was the thing. Like, I wanted, again, to sort of reach into my bag of tropes and kind of say, okay, so here's where you think it's going, right? Because the first 10 minutes of the movie is basically a misdirect, It's like, oh, it's going to be a scary haunted house movie. And then, of course, that rug gets ripped out pretty quickly.
Actually, to your point, whenever I know I'm going to do a junket for a film and I know I'm going to be watching it anyway, I actually make a point to not watch the trailer. And I actually appreciated going into this blind. And I know it's marketing. You have to have a trailer for a movie. You just have to. But like, would you almost recommend this being one of those movies where you tell people don't watch the trailer going in?
I don't know. It depends on the person. You know what I mean? Like if it's someone that needs convincing, like, because here's the thing. A lot of people like either hear my name or sort of my association to the horror genre. And so they think, oh, I'm not going to watch that. I get it all the time. I meet people all the time who say, oh, I hate horror films. And so you kind of need the trailer to sort of gently lead them by the hand and say, look, this isn't going to be that. You're going to be okay. Sure. But if you're like me, I really do. It's tough because I love trailers. It's an art form. And I love seeing them in a movie theater more than anything. But sometimes it's kind of nice to go into something blind. Like I went into Triangle of Sadness, which is a totally different movie.
Damn.
But I knew nothing about it. Nothing about it. And I was like, my head exploded. So, there's definitely something to be said for not knowing.
Seriously, I appreciate your time, man. I'm a fan of your work and I'm a fan of this film. So seriously, thank you for having fun. And I'm glad that I'm proud of myself for the Changeling thing. So I'm gonna give myself.
That was so good.
I appreciate you.
No one has caught that. No one. So
I appreciate you.
You get that point.
Thank you, my friend. Good to see you, buddy. Take care.
Take care. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
don't need roads.